us here to plan this event because he was really good at it. He would have planned an over-the-top party, celebration of his life, with t-shirts and decorated sneakers, films, special foods, or perhaps even a hip-hop performance by him. So without him today will not be as grand, and for many of us, neither will going on in life without him. One thing you may not know about my father is that he was honored by the Academy of Art College in San Francisco with an honorary doctorate of humane letters. This was something he was very, very proud of. When he gave his speech at the graduation ceremony, he looked amusing in his cap and gown, which I believe may have been the only time he ever wore one. He left high school and enlisted in the Army as soon as he hit 17 and never finished college. And actually, he really barely started college at the University of Miami. But he looked back fondly at his military experience because it was peacetime and really enjoyed traveling in Europe. Growing up, my idea of the military was having a German Shepherd to play with and hanging out in nightclubs with beautiful women. No wonder my dad didn't understand when I protested the Vietnam War. So he left college after a short time to move on with his life in a different way. His way proved successful after working very hard his whole life in the garment business. In the citation from the Academy of Art College, they called him a fashion visionary, which gave him tremendous joy for his accomplishments as founder and CEO of August Silk. This honorary doctorate also gave him a competitive edge to those around him, especially me. He loved to be called doctor. So his fashion vision has extended to this day, particularly since his move to Florida, as is evident from what everybody else, Mal and Shay, said before me, but as is evident from his color-coordinated clothes he liked to wear and his 30-plus pair of sneakers he owned. His color and his personality was something people noticed and remembered. He made friends everywhere and secured the personal cell phone numbers of people who helped him, his doctors, his bankers, and even his personal Apple genius. I was walking with him one day in the mall in New Jersey, and coming towards us was a mother with a stroller, continuing a screaming 1 or 2-year-old child, screaming. So he stopped, he looked eye to eye with this hysterical child like he does, and said in a very stern voice, and very intensely, and his sometimes, with his sometimes scary eyes, and he said, "Shh, we don't do that." This stunned kid stopped immediately, and the mother was shocked. And I looked over to my dad and laughed, and he looked at me, and he said, "It works every time." There are so many stories about my father, and we've heard wonderful stories from Mal and Jay and Ellen. It's been really amazing. And there's so many stories of him. He's had many lives, as we all know. As most of us know, he's had a few wives, including my mother. He had 3 heart bypass operations. A car landed on him in a restaurant in New York City, and he survived longer than most people do from his form of cancer. He loved to cook, he loved to eat, he wrote poetry and limericks for many occasions. He knew how to have fun, and he loved to document with photographs. My dad and I shared that passion, probably fueled by the first Nikon camera he gave me when I was 18. And today we're fortunate to have thousands of photos of his, some of which you've seen today. He loved his kids and his grandkids and was the most attentive grandparent, there when they were born and close ever since. He loved our spouses. In fact, he always joked that he liked Paul better than me and he liked Judith way better than David.
Liked you better than me.
He was also proud of his grandnieces and nephews, and thanks to his sister's kids, especially Barry, there are many of them. I got a Facebook message last night, actually, from one of them, from Taylor, saying how much she will miss her great Uncle Jack, or great, as he made them
say, right?
Great was his name to them. Right. But the stories I like best are the most recent ones, when because of his successful business, he began to have more time in his life to really enjoy life with Sandy and the rest of us. He took trips with his sons, Richard and David, and his grandchildren, Sam, Max, and Kate. And Devin, you and I really, I don't know, we got cheated somehow. It was a big. But those trips involved intense one-on-one conversations over long meals. He introduced the kids to dining as he knew it, where he told them about his life. In fact, the grandkids know much more than I do, it seems, and imparted his wisdom on them. In turn, he asked them about their personal lives and listened and remembered and followed up their trips after the trips to keep up with them, sometimes through the Sunday phone calls he instituted. He engaged the rest of us in conversation, and he always told me that the best way to socialize and get to know people was to ask them about themselves. And one of the things I will greatly miss is our frequent phone calls where he kept up with my life. With his success, he and Sandy were able to travel more, included the rest of us in many of those trips. There was an Alaska cruise, and Harriet's 80th, and Devin and Robin's wedding, and his prayers over the challah at Kate, Max, and Sam's bat and bar mitzvahs. Over the year, we grew as a family, as Ellen described, with all of us included, and Sandy's, whole family. Sandy, you and Dad were quite the team, and we will be forever grateful. Sorry for the joy that you brought him, and how well you took care of him, especially the last couple